Hi folks, David Waring here again with InformedTrades.com, and today's lesson of the day, an introduction to support and resistance. As many of you already know, the price of a financial instrument, just as anything where market forces are at play, is ultimately determined by supply and demand. Very simply, if the demand for a financial instrument is increasing in relation to supply, then price will rise. And if demand for a particular instrument is decreasing in relation to supply, then price will fall. As we've learned in previous lessons, what you're basically looking at when you see an uptrend on a chart is a period of time where demand has continuously increased in relation to supply. On the opposite side of that, what you're looking at when you look at a downtrend is a period of time where demand has continuously decreased in relation to supply. What we're going to look at today is price levels where the supply-demand equation reverses itself and price is expected to stop moving in the direction it was moving before and potentially reverse itself. Let's have a look at what I'm talking about.
Okay, so let's start by looking at the definition of support and resistance, and then we're going to take a look at a couple examples on some charts. The definition of support is the price level of a particular instrument where there is enough demand should price reach that level to keep prices from falling further. The opposite of support is resistance, the price level of a particular instrument where there is not enough demand should price reach that level to keep prices rising further. So this is a chart of Nike here, and if you look at this middle part of the chart here, you should be able to see a pretty good example of support there. You can see that price has touched that level multiple times, total of 3 times, and then actually bounced off of that and never returned to touch it. So that support level is held, is what that's called. Similarly, you can see here that price touched this resistance line 3 times. In general, twice touching is enough to establish a support or resistance line, but third time is usually pretty good confirmation of that. So you can see there the difference between support and resistance. You can also see that on the resistance side of things, the top line actually did not hold, and price ended up breaking through that level and continuing to trend upward. So it's pretty easy to see support and resistance there in a range-bound market like we just saw. As we've learned about trends in previous lessons, a trend line is basically a support line underlying the trend as well. So in addition to being able to see these things on range-bound markets, you can also see them with a trend. So you see the uptrend there, and you see the price coming down and touching that uptrend line multiple times. Before eventually breaking it, and that's a good example of support. And on the upside, this is called a price channel here, a trend channel. You can see price touching multiple times that line, and that line is acting as resistance there to the upside of that trend. So a common strategy that traders will use when looking at charts and looking for support and resistance, a very basic strategy, is they'll look for selling opportunities around resistance and buying opportunities around support, and then they'll look to place their exits shortly above resistance or shortly below support to protect that position. So that's something that we're going to take a little bit of a look into later in some of our strategy discussions. Okay, so that's our lesson for today. You should now have a good understanding of support and resistance. In tomorrow's lesson, we're going to take a look at something called multi-time frame analysis, which is going to take all the lessons that we've had up to this point and try and tie them together to give us a big picture overview of the market, and also give us some tips on determining how strong or weak a particular support or resistance level may be. So thanks as always for listening. We hope to see you in tomorrow's lesson. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comments section below, and have a great day.